Codeine Cowboy is the first Babyface Ray project that I've listened to by him, and I'm not overly disappointed or nothing, but I also think it was kind of just fine. I'm not really impressed, but I'm not impressed either. And I do think that there is a lot to like here, and if I went back to older music, I would probably find a couple that I like. Um, Babyface Ray, I've mainly heard him on features, on other people's songs, and there's a few that I do like. There is one called he is on it with Blast, and it is some girl's song. Spend It with Nija. Oh wait, no, never mind. That is his song. I'm a liar. My fault, y'all. But that's his song. I like that one by him. I like him on the Lucky song White House, really good, and I like him on that Captain Crunch Trippy Red song. But this album itself, besides having a really cool album cover, that is probably the best part about it, is kind of just okay. A lot of these songs that I like on it are mostly just fine. There's some good runs here and there. I ain't gonna lie to you, I think a lot of the features are really not that good. The reason I'm pointing that out is because there's quite a few of them. You got a couple Lil Yachty's, King Hendrix and Sauce Walka are not bad. There's Lucky, who has a good feature. A lot of the ones on disc 2 are the problem. It's like Mozzie doesn't do that good in my opinion. Neither does Samuel Shabazz, or Shabazz, however you're supposed to say that. Apologies if I'm butchering it. Another main issue I had is whenever I was listening to it and I realized I was only like 4 or 5 songs in, I kind of was like, oh my god, I have a lot more left to go over, and it feels like I've been listening longer than I have been. Not because the songs necessarily sound the same, or because like there's a lot of features, so like having other voices does help a lot with a runtime. I just don't think Babyface Ray should have albums that are an hour long. At least that's just my personal opinion. Even though the splitting of the two discs, and it kind of being like the second disc being like kind of slower, and the first disc being more like actual rapping, you know, it still kind of feels like it's a little too long. Which that on this project really runtime for me, unless it is a really big problem, is most of the time it's not, but it is a negative for me. I like American Psycho a lot. I like Wavy Creek. That's the one with him and Yachty. What was the other one that I really liked? It's on my playlist. Let me look it up real fast. Excuse me. That's What They Told Me is another pretty good one. But besides that, a lot of the other songs are mostly mediocre. Netflix and Chill is pretty good. I genuinely really dislike I Know. I also don't like Have Sleep because I'm not the biggest fan of V's. Which I've never listened to a solo V's tape. So yeah, I don't like V's on that song. And to be honest, I haven't really liked V's on a lot of things I've heard by him. But maybe I'm tripping. It's kind of one of these albums that I have kind of hard times. I have a lot of notes written, but a lot of them are kind of the same because this album, Babyface Ray's not the most complicated rapper in the world. He does have some nice bars, has some nice wordplay, lots of nice flows. I think his voice sounds very nice, but sometimes when I'm listening to an album, it's very calm and like relaxed, I guess you could say. So, and his same with like his delivery a lot of the time. Sometimes it kind of just like when I'm listening to a bunch of them in a row, I almost get a little sleepy. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm bored, but because his voice is kind of, it's just the way his voice is. It's just kind of chill. You know what I mean? It's very unique though. That is something that I think he uses really well is his voice, because not a lot of rappers sound like Babyface Ray. Even though he kind of has a similar rapping style to a few other Detroit artists, he does sound different. He manages to sound. I can pinpoint him. There's a lot of really nice production on here, even though it's not the craziest in the world. It is not. It's very nice. That's one of the best things about American Psycho. Best thing about Still Sipping. Oh, I forgot to mention I really like Kick the Cup Campaign. I think this album starts off very strong. I really like American Psycho, Wavy Creek, Standing on Business is okay, Kick the Cup Campaign, Still Sipping, Can't Be Me. And then it kind of slows down a little bit with Netflix and Chill. Like I said, I don't like I Know. Lou Graham and Rich and Bored are okay. I don't like Half Sleep. And then the rest of disc 2 is mostly okay. I like Elevator Music. Hood Cries okay. And like I said, I really like That's What They Told Me. I do like a lot of the lyrics on That's What They Told Me To as well. I do have positive things, but none of it, it's kind of weird. I'm saying these positive things, but I'm not saying any of these things are great. A lot of these things are mainly just okay to fine. You know what I mean? Like, I will probably. Now, part of the reason for that is probably because this type of genre slash Detroit music slash cloud rap is not really like my type of music, really. I'm not the biggest fan of Detroit rappers or Detroit style, which is really weird because a lot of the time I do like Lil Yachty, and he kind of emulates a lot of that. I don't really know why that is. I'm trying to think of another rapper that's from Detroit that I might really like. Is Babyface Ray not from Detroit? I'm gonna look this up to double check myself. I've always thought he was from Detroit, but I could be really wrong. I'm also pretty sure V's is. I know. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Oh crap! I'll come back when I. Oh yep, here it is. Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, he is probably out of all the Detroit rappers I can think of, the one of the ones that I listen to the most. But yeah, between like for sure between like him and V's, I think Rilo Rodriguez is also from Detroit. I don't really like Rilo Rodriguez either. Actually, I really don't like him. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not the biggest fan of Detroit rappers in the first place. So not because I dislike them, but more so because I just don't really mesh with their style of music as much. And again, that might just be me. It definitely is just me because I mean these guys are really popular. And I know a lot of people love them, especially around their area, of course. But again, just not that crazy of an album to me. Overall, I give it like a solid 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, you know what I mean? 5, 6-ish range. Kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. Because, like I said, none of it's bad, but none of it's great either. Hopefully y'all are enjoying daily uploads being back in fruition. This one's being uploaded kind of late at night because I just got off work not that long ago. But tomorrow should be around like 3, 4-ish p.m.-ish, ish. Just submitted a new song, so subscribe, like, and comment to make sure you get updates on that. Love you guys.